Hello, hello.
Good morning, happy Friday. I am Arielle from Be Well with Arielle, and this is Aimee Raupp from Aimee Raupp. And I'm so excited to be with you, Aimee. Aimee is one of my best friends, and she's one of my mentors. And I actually met her when I was trying to conceive, when I was trying to get pregnant, and she is ultimately the one who helped me get pregnant, other than my husband.
Lee played a role.
Lee definitely played a role, and I did too. I will give my body credit. But you know, Aimee wrote a book called Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, and I was so attracted by just the joy that she brought in her book and the messaging in her book and all of the tips and tricks really that helped me upgrade my health and improve my fertility. And today we are really excited because she just launched her third book.
Yes.
I have like the coolest friends ever, Body Belief. So this is how to heal autoimmune diseases, radically shift your health, and learn to love your body more.
Yes.
So the interesting thing is that I actually have an autoimmune issue. I don't like calling it a disease, but I have an autoimmune issue related to my thyroid, and I actually didn't know that I had any autoimmune issues before I ended up seeing Aimee. So there might be some symptoms that you have that might be autoimmune related. You might maybe have these symptoms, but you don't have an autoimmune issue, or you just might want to feel better. So today we're just going to give some tips on
how to feel better.
Just how to feel better, right? All right, so let's go.
Let's go.
So I went through the book. This is such a beautiful book. First of all, it's a beautiful cover, and I just love Aimee's books because they're just very sweet, and they just like get to the point. There are a lot of books that have like so much mumble jumble, and yours just gets to the point. So literally in the preface, it says, these are the questions, okay? Do you feel foggy headed and have a hard time concentrating? So any of these questions, if you are feeling this way, you may have an autoimmune issue, right?
I say if you answer yes to 3 or more of these questions, there's a very high likelihood that you have an autoimmune condition. If you have just 1 or 2, I still think the tips and strategies in the book would really help you, because it is ultimately about how to heal better, feel better, and heal even before you wind up getting an autoimmune condition. Like in your case, you know, we got you really early on and have really changed the entire like framework of your body and how it works.
And so what are, you know, once you are able to heal these autoimmune issues, or even if you don't have an autoimmune issue, but you do heal, let's say, you know, and with your food protocol and with your, you know, wellness protocol, what kind of help can you, or what differences can you see within your body other than just energy and maybe even fertility, right?
Yeah, so go through the questions, because these are the things that you'll see the changes.
Okay. So do you feel foggy-headed and have a hard time concentrating? Do you wake up feeling exhausted even after sleeping 8 hours?
That's a big one.
Big one. Do your hormones feel out of whack most of the time? Big. Sometimes you don't really know if it's your hormones, but that may just be like you want to at everyone,
irritable, hangry episodes, right? Where if you go too long without eating and you have these major irritability attacks.
Totally me. I was hangry all of the effing time.
And then that can lead to, well, there's a question in there too, but that can lead to bouts of anxiety and depression, which are very linked to your hormones being out of whack. So you might have regular menstrual cycles, right, and not have any extreme menstrual symptoms, but you're dealing with anxiety and depression, or the hangry episodes, just feeling like on edge all the time. That's still a hormonal imbalance.
Does your body ache often? I actually don't have that issue. Well, maybe after I got pregnant I did.
Yeah.
But I think that's
normal.
More like my bed.
Yeah. And that's normal too after postpartum for like the first 6 months or so.
Do you regularly experience gas or bloating or indigestion? Do you have eczema, psoriasis, or any other skin condition that will not go away? And so that's related to your face or the rest of your body.
The rest of your body. Eczema and psoriasis for me is a huge telltale sign of a potential autoimmune disease. I see it all the time in the clinic. I myself am an eczema sufferer for my whole life. And it's one of the things that I use still as my, what I call my red flag symptom. So when that flares up, I know that there's, you know, I need to tune into my body and treat it a little bit better to get the eczema to calm down. But eczema and psoriasis or rosacea are really common symptoms of an underlying autoimmune condition.
Have you been struggling to get pregnant, or have you had multiple miscarriages? Do you have a hard time losing weight? Do you go in and out of bouts of anxiety and depression? Do you experience random environmental allergic responses, chronic sinus issues, or both? And do you feel like you're always catching that cold that's going around the office? So if you answered 1 or 2 or 3,
even more, right?
Or even
Some people
more,
feel like they have all of them, which, you know, we send you so much love, but know that there's, you know, in this book, I lay out a clear-cut protocol on how to begin to heal yourself so you can feel better now. So whether or not you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition really doesn't matter to a practitioner like myself who does Chinese medicine. You know, we want to treat symptoms and help you heal from that space. But if you do know you have an autoimmune condition, this book is for you. But even if you don't, there's so much healing that you can take part in and take responsibility for in your body and begin to feel better.
So I felt foggy headed all the time. I definitely had a hard time concentrating. I woke up feeling exhausted, definitely after sleeping 8 hours or more. I didn't know that I was struggling to get pregnant, but I had irregular periods.
Yeah, her periods were irregular. And you had the hangry episodes, which was a hormonal imbalance for me too.
Total hangry episodes. I realized that I needed to eat like every 2 to 3 hours, and that's one of Aimee's recommendations. So if you have symptoms like I had or any of the ones mentioned, let's go through some of the tips, because I think that would be really, really helpful. And I wish I had this book back in the day, but now
But you had me, and that's how the book was born out of all of these women I was treating in the clinic for fertility challenges, and even just, you know, whatever, general health patients, but that I saw so many people were suffering so many symptoms. It wasn't just, oh, I'm trying to get pregnant, or my periods are irregular, or I have a thyroid condition. Across the board, people were suffering with lots of symptoms, and I, you know, time after time became the one that got, like even you, got you to the right doctor to get the right testing done to then find out that we actually had a thyroid condition that wasn't being treated. So I see a lot of, you know, mismanaged autoimmune conditions or undiagnosed across the board. So for me, the catalyst was patients like you, that I started to realize, you know, 30 million American women are affected by autoimmune conditions that we know of. And so many more are walking around undiagnosed. So it's not that we need to go out and find the diagnosis, because the Western treatment isn't that supportive of healing the autoimmunity. You know, with you getting on some thyroid medication was helpful, right? You know, in a lot of patients that's the case, but there's so much we need to do from a diet and lifestyle perspective to really help you.
And speaking of which, you know, I've been in the wellness world for years and years and years, and I thought that I knew all the ways that I could take care of myself. And then what I really loved about Aimee is that she just figures out ways to just upgrade your health and upgrade your health and upgrade your health. And so I am a health coach. I am a practitioner. I have clients myself, and here I was. There were many ways that I was able to just make shifts and changes and edits in my diet and my lifestyle, where I ended up feeling just so much better.
And that's how I got here too. It wasn't like all of this was taught to me or all of this is clinical. I went through my own health challenges, and over the years collecting data and seeing what works and what doesn't work has helped me upgrade other people's health and even my own, right?
Okay, so let's go through some questions that will help people if they're not feeling their best right now. And we can't really view questions, but keep on asking your questions, and then maybe we'll see them. Okay, so let's go. Yes.
So there's 3 pillars to the Body Belief Plan, which makes it different than any of the other autoimmune books that are out there. I really dive deep on the emotional, spiritual, mental aspect of health. So the first pillar is all about reconnecting to yourself. And until you're reconnected, can you really begin to live in your body again, feel the cue, listen, hear, feel the cues it's giving you about its wellness or illness. And so I give you strategies on how to daily reconnect, how to start living in your body again, how to begin to hear what your body is saying to you. And the second pillar so the first pillar is called Reconnect. The second pillar is called Renew Your Beliefs. And that's where the title comes from, Body Belief, right? So what are our beliefs that we have about our body? And so we're at the section of the book where we're talking about renewing the beliefs.
Page 60.
So these are some common beliefs that I would see in the clinic. And do you identify with any one of them for you? Let's see. I don't know if you ever had any of these, but here's some common ones. I always knew I would get sick. Too old to change. There's no hope, so why bother? I have bad genes. It's in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid to feel better. I think that's a big one for people in the wellness world. We don't want to brag that we feel great all the time because we feel bad doing that. You know, it's like I feel bad feeling good kind of thing. I'm afraid to do this alone. I don't know who I am without my illness. That's a big one I see in the clinic where people become so identified. I see it a lot with fertility girls where it's like, no, I have this fertility challenge. It's one of the first things they bring up, one of the first things they talk about with friends, or they quell it as well. And yeah,
nobody feels that good.
Yeah, nobody feels that good. So that's the sense of, isn't this good enough? Like, you know, and I say in the book, I think most of us are walking around at 70 to 80% our wellness, and we really could be at 95, even 100%. We deserve that. And so part of what I do in this book is get you to that space where you're feeling worthy again of feeling better, that you feel like you deserve it. And then from that space, we get into the Reawaken pillar, which is the third pillar, which is all about the diet and lifestyle changes.
That was a big one for me, by the way, because I would wake up after 8 hours of sleep and I would still feel exhausted, but I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm not a caffeine drinker. Right. I don't rely on caffeine in the morning. So one of the things that I said to Aimee in her office was, you know, I don't drink coffee. So, you know, I think that I'm like energized enough. I didn't realize that like that wasn't normal to still be, you know, even a little bit tired in the morning. Like you should wake up feeling
refreshed, especially if you're a good sleeper. If you go down and you sleep a solid 7 to 8 hours, you should feel like $1,000,000 when you wake up in the morning.
Good quality sleep. And so if you're in that place where you're not getting that quality sleep and you're waking up feeling, you know, exhausted, or if you're going through the day and you are absolutely getting hangry and you like need a snack right away, these are some ways that these are some really, really helpful little tidbits that Aimee offers in her book. And these are just like really positive mantras.
Yeah, right? It's a good way to begin. So when I talk about renewing your body beliefs, it's about tuning into your body first and starting to hear the conversation you have in the privacy of your own mind and what it is you're telling your body every day. Because believe it or not, there's neuroscience research that shows us what we think every day, our thoughts and our beliefs about our body, actually impact our physiology and will cause almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you're walking around saying, I'm broken, there's no hope, why bother, it's my genetics, you know, I'm never going to get pregnant, right? That's one I hear a lot. Your body is going to respond in that way to support that. So one thing I really work on in the book is to get you to renew those beliefs. And it's not going from everything stinks, you know, it's over, to, oh my God, it's amazing. But somewhere in the middle, just as our teacher Abraham says, a better feeling thought. And so here are some better feeling thoughts that, you know, I do feel better when I take better care of myself. I know stress affects my sleep, so I guess it could be affecting my overall health.
I am ready to feel better.
Yeah, that's such a nice one.
It is a really nice one, and I think for someone, you know, if you are in the wellness world, if you are a health coach yourself, if you are a registered dietitian, if you do work in the wellness world, or even if you don't, but you know that you should feel better, sometimes it's hard to admit that you can feel even better, that there is opportunity to feel even better.
And that's it. That's basically what I'm trying to do, is open you up to the possibility that things can change. Because that's the number one thing about our beliefs and about our lifestyle, of course, is we can change it, we can shift it. And the research shows us when we do that, it positively impacts our health outcomes. So, you know, your beliefs dictate your behavior, which dictates your health. And if you don't work on that level first, I think sticking to the diet and lifestyle plan I have laid out is more challenging. So I try to lay this groundwork where we really get back into our bodies and begin to trust our bodies, like them again.
Reconnect to them.
Reconnect. We open to the possibility that things can change, that you deserve to feel better. This is my favorite part of the book.
So, and we will get into some of Aimee's dietary recommendations because I think that they're very helpful, and many of them I started incorporating into my lifestyle when I wanted to get pregnant. But I have absolutely, and my husband also, I mean, we really follow the same guidelines. And when people say like, are you on a diet? I'm like, no,
it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, but I'm like still on like the fertility lifestyle, because when your body is at the stage, I believe, where you are fertile, that is, and when you're able to create another human being, that's like your ultimate health.
It
right?
totally is. And I always say that, even in my fertility clients, that fertility is an extension of health. All I'm doing is optimizing your health. And as that optimizes, fertility will kick into gear. And that was clear with you, too, with our work together.
There were just some changes that I need to make to really just upgrade my health.
Here was Gemma.
And then Gemma. Okay, so this is really helpful. This is called the Feeling Tracker Tool, and this is on page 64 in her new book, The Body Belief. And what I really love about this, and this is something that I actually practice on myself mostly every day, how I want to feel. And so ask yourself right now, how are you feeling? And if you're not feeling that great, and this could be in any part of your life, not even your health, right? So if you're not feeling great in your career, if you're not feeling great in your relationship, if you're not feeling great, if you're not feeling great within your body, how do you want to feel? So let's do that right now.
Yeah.
You know, let's practice that right now. Like if you're watching this and you're not feeling great in part of your life, think about how you want to feel. Just pick one word. One word?
Yeah.
Is that good? Pick one word.
What's your word?
Calm.
Yeah, mine's ease, right?
Ease. Calm. My baby's trying to go to sleep in the background, and I have friends coming over later, and I have work, and I have a restaurant that I'm opening in a few months. So I'm just trying to.
She's been the busiest I've ever seen her. I shouldn't say busy. Her schedule's full.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, all great stuff. But it is, right? And ease. But you guys might be wanting to feel more energized, right? More alive, more excited, happy, content, comfortable in your body.
Confident.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you want to feel? And then why? Why? The calmer, I want to feel calm because the calmer I feel, the better I can mother. The better I can mother with a smile on my face. The better I can tackle all the things on my to-do list. Yes. When I'm frazzled, I feel so overwhelmed and then I can't get to anything on my to-do list, and then I feel like, totally unaccomplished, which is something that I mentioned on my Instagram post the other day. And then the other question is, what's in my way?
Yes, and I think that's an important question to really meditate on and listen, like ask your body. Say, hey body, what's in my way of feeling this? And you'd be so surprised at some of the answers. Your body is so intelligent and will give you the right answers. Sometimes I hear, I just need you to support me more, or I just need you to love me more. That's one I heard the other day, and I thought, I love my body, I do, but maybe I wasn't sending the right signals. So to really kind of sit with that, what is in my way, and really listen to the answer.
And actually, something that I want to bring up is I'm actually mentioned in the beginning of the book. You didn't mention my name, but Aimee had a bout of eczema.
Your name is in the book too, though.
I did see that. But I think that this is of course not about me, but what's in my way. I think that bringing this up is really important. Aimee and I were in the car. She was this is before she was writing the book, this is before you were writing the book. And Aimee had a bout of eczema on her arms, and she couldn't get rid of it.
Oh no, on my left breast.
Oh, on your left breast. Right.
I was breastfeeding.
Right. So she had eczema on her left breast, and she couldn't. She was so frustrated in the car when we were driving.
It was so uncomfortable.
It's so. Yeah, I remember.
And it was everywhere.
And not only it was frustrating because she is a healer. Like people go to her because of skin issues that they can't heal, and then she heals them right away. And then she has them on her own body, and she couldn't heal it herself. And so I turned to her and I said, "What's in your way? Like what's another reason that you think that your body might be flaring up?" And she had a little epiphany, and that epiphany was
I started crying, and then I said, I want to stop breastfeeding, but I'm afraid that everyone will judge me, because I was about to hit the 1 year mark on breastfeeding, and in the health and wellness world, 1 year isn't good enough, right? You got to do it for 2 or 4,
which is absolutely not true. But that's a belief.
But that was a belief I had, right?
And that's pressure that you put on yourself.
Yeah, and it was all this. Because my diet was great, I was breastfeeding, and I practiced what I preach really well, I think. But I was internalizing all of these emotions, and they were showing up on my left breast, by all means, while I was breastfeeding my child. And so she prompted me in that way a great friend can, and And it was, and I tell the story in the book because it was such an epiphany for me, and one that really helped me realize when my eczema flares up, 9 out of 10 times, it's not what I'm eating. It's actually my emotional space. And that's what I see in the clinic. That's what I've been practicing for 15 years. You know, it's a long time, thousands and thousands of clients. The emotional piece plays a huge role. So to ask yourself the why, like you asked me the why, I knew the why. I knew, and I was so afraid to say it out loud because I was judging myself was really the big issue, right? I was being really hard on myself and trying to do everything. We were moving, you know, I was getting this book deal. I mean, there were so many things, and a new mom and a new marriage and, you know, all these things. So it was...
And sometimes it takes another person to actually just put you in your place and ask you that question. But I think that it's really helpful, like, write down, like, what is in your way? Like, what are all the things? And again, it's not like physical things. It's more like mental and emotional things. Speaking of which, my heart is like breaking because my baby is crying. So Aimee, why don't...
wrap this?
No, don't wrap it up.
Okay.
Aimee, why don't you go over some diet stuff? Because I feel like, I mean, I love Aimee's diet recommendations. Sometimes they're a little bit restrictive, and you know I'm not about restrictive.
Yeah, I know.
But if you are really trying to heal your eczema, or you really just want to feel better every single morning, or you want to improve your fertility, I would definitely suggest, like I always say, just listen to Aimee. When I listened to Aimee and like I went off total gluten, total dairy, and like absolutely limited my sugar intake, including maple syrup, honey, and coconut palm sugar. That's really ultimately when I got pregnant.
And so increased your animal protein.
And I increased my animal protein as well too, right? So when I started seeing Aimee, I was like hardly eating red meat, and then I started eating red meat like literally every single week to really just increase the quality of my blood. And so why don't you go over...
I'll go over that. You go see little baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me go see if baby's okay.
She's gonna check baby.
I'll be right back.
So this diet is different than what I had, and yes, you can get pregnant. It's a little more intense, I would say, but it's different also because it's an elimination diet. So the key is to eliminate as many of these potential inflammatory foods as possible, and then slowly, week after week, we reintroduce them and see how you feel. The hope is that in the elimination period, which is going to last about 3 weeks, I want your gut to begin its healing process, because that's where our immune system lies, and that's when we want to heal autoimmune diseases or really just our overall health, we have to start with the gut. So, with that said, it's of course no gluten, no dairy, no limited sugar, no artificial sweeteners, all organic foods, grass-fed animal protein, no processed vegetable oils. So I have like the food stuff that you should avoid: gluten, soy, added sugars, processed vegetable oils, dairy, legumes. This is where it's different than, yes, you can get pregnant. So no beans, no grains, no nuts, no seeds, no nightshade vegetables, and no egg whites. And then no alcohol and coffee for those first 3 weeks. So that sounds probably a little overwhelming. However, I would have to admit that nuts and beans and seeds can be one of the most inflammatory foods if not properly treated. So that means you have to soak and sprout your nuts and your beans, and then you could probably digest them. But for the purpose of elimination, and I understand it's pretty strict, we have to remove them all, and then 1 week at a time we add them back in. So you can go back to these foods, it's just removing them entirely for a period of time. Let your body heal, remove all the inflammation, and then slowly 1 week after the next, and I lay it all out on how to add things back in. We're eating, so what you can eat, we can eat bone broth, we can eat egg yolks, we can eat seafood, ghee, there's fish roe I recommend in here, and liver, two really high quality nutrient dense foods. We can eat lots of oils and fats, lots and lots of vegetables, prebiotic rich foods, fruit. So there's so much you can eat, which is the key. And in here I have, it's all laid out. There's a prep phase, so you can get used to the idea of eliminating things and slowly move into that. Then there's the purify phase, where we're eliminating a lot of food. We stay there for 11 days. And then we move into the Reawaken phase, which for the first 3 weeks of the Reawaken phase, we don't add in anything, but we're doing lots of broth, lots of egg yolks, protein, We're certain to eat 30 minutes upon waking, some fruit. We can have black tea or green tea, right? So we can do more cooked than raw foods, fermented foods. There's a liver support juice, water, exercise. I kind of go over everything and supplements to take. And then we move into the reintroduction phase. And we note how we feel. And that's the key. So you could do food allergy testing. Most of it is inaccurate most of the time, unfortunately. I hate to say that to all of you. Unless you're doing the Cyrex Labs tests, everything else I consider pretty inaccurate. The only, and I've talked to every doctor out there, every functional medicine doctor out there, the only surefire way to figure out your food intolerances is to do an elimination diet, because the allergy testing is often inaccurate. So please note that. I talk about that in the book as well. I talk about what tests you should get, what tests are a waste of time, and we have baby Gemma joining us. Hello, is it too bright down here? Yeah. Hi, my precious girl.
Okay, we're back.
Hi.
We're back.
Hi.
Hi, Auntie.
So we're talking about the reintroduction. I kind of went over, that it is a stricter elimination diet, but all in the name of feeling better and letting the gut heal, which is key. And, a lot of what you can eat, so lots of veggies and lots of protein and lots of good healthy fats and yummy bone broth.
And so what kind of healthy fats? I know that one of the recommendations that you give are grass-fed butter.
Yes. Well, if there's no dairy, we do ghee instead, grass-fed ghee.
Okay, grass-fed ghee.
We can do coconut oil. We can do avocado oil, right?
And did you go over your recommendation of eating liver?
Yeah, so liver was one of my favorite fertility foods because it's one of the most nutrient-dense foods that exists. We used to eat organ meats all the time, and we were getting so heavy.
Because we used to.
As a society, culturally, we all did, liver pate, right? Or chopped liver, what's it called? Yeah. And we got away from that. And people are afraid to eat organ meats, or they're afraid to eat animal products because they think they're unhealthy for them. The key is we have to eat grass-fed, good quality organ meats. And
I have to be honest, I don't really like the thought of it.
Yeah, same. So you could take it in pill form, and I recommend that in the book. So Dr. Ron's is one of my favorites, or Vital Proteins. Look, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Vital Proteins, they both make liver in capsule form. I think it's just really important. I call it nature's B complex. You get all your B vitamins and you were made out of liver, and you eat some liver. I know you do. This one, right? She eats some liver. James eats liver. I would put it in his bottle, the capsule, for a little bit. But again, one of the most nutrient-dense foods that you can eat and really helps heal that body.
And another recommendation, and I know that you recommended this, and actually it's a tip that a food that you can actually give your baby, and it's called a superfood for your baby when they first start eating solids. But fish roe, and that's another recommendation in Aimee's book, page 95. Fish roe, eat 1 ounce 1 to 2 times per week, as fish roe has a high ratio of omega-3s. Oops,
it's okay.
We'll clean it up later. Hi, welcome to
Baby Gemma hour.
Welcome to Baby Gemma hour.
She's like, get away.
This is
off
here.
Of
why
me.
don't you read?
You want to read the book?
Yeah, she loves books. Yeah,
Go
read
ahead.
Body Belief.
Let's read
Yeah,
together.
read Body Belief. This is when you are a working mama and you don't have a babysitter on Friday.
Exactly.
You just figure it out. Now, one thing with fish roe, I know that some fish roes have MSG added to them.
Yeah, so we have to make sure.
So just make sure that it doesn't have fish roe added. But I actually always forget to eat fish roe, so thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I just have it. I get the Acura, and then I just try to get a teaspoon in, a couple times a week, or even just plain, or I'll throw it on like a yummy, rice cracker or over my eggs. It's so good on eggs.
And so we're going to wrap this up soon. If you have any questions, please let us know. Type in your question right now. We'll be taking your questions. But something that I really love, and this is just at the end of Aimee's book. Oh, perfect. It's the case to your phone. She's going to love that. This is really just something that I love, and this is how Aimee is ending. Hi, sweet Gemma. Oh, thanks. Thanks for saying hi to Gemma.
Aww.
Gemma, everyone's saying hi to you. Any other questions, just type them in right now, and Aimee, you look over here, okay?
Yes.
While I read this. But this is something that I just really love. If there is one thing that you take away from the body belief lifestyle, I hope it's the sheer importance of you being kind to you.
Yes.
And finding compassion for yourself and where you are. I really love that. And
Thank you.
you know, something else that I think is really important is that if you are not wholly there yet, if you are not fully at that place where you want to be, you know, she says that you know, we're all human and everyone has their own pace for change, which I think is really, really important. So even if you follow these teachings only most of the time, right, you're going to see results.
Yes.
So follow some of her recommendations and you will see a result. Nutritional response testing, yes or no?
Nutritional
Aimee?
response testing. I'm not sure what that is. Is that the NutriVal, where it's vitamins and minerals in your body? That works. If it's one of those food allergy tests, I don't love them. The only ones that are really useful are the ones that test the antibodies to foods in your body, like the Cyrex Labs Array 3, 4, and 10.
Questions are coming in. Oh my goodness. I need this book. Where can I get it? Oh, good question.
Amazon or Barnes & Nobles. But head over to aimeeraupp.com/book gift. And we have an incredible 5-hour digital workshop that you'll get for free when you order the book. And all the steps on how to order the book are on that page. So it's aimeeraupp.com/book, as in book.
Book gift.
As in, I'm giving you something, gift.
Or you could just get it on Amazon,
Yeah.
but you will get the additional
The
5-hour
so
online
it's
course.
cooking demonstrations, meditation, yoga, qigong, some discussions from me on how to shift your beliefs and reconnect to yourself. Really valuable information. We also have a private, it's a closed body belief group on Facebook. We have a couple hundred members in there already, which is amazing. And we're going to do a Reboost Your Health program starting in early May, which you don't want to miss. And we're going to do the whole elimination diet together and work on reconnecting to ourselves and renewing our beliefs. So that's another thing. So if you sign up at aimeeraupp.com/book gift, you'll get all that info and join the Facebook group.
So I know that
Gemma's very excited about that.
I know that there are tons of more questions coming in, which we probably won't get to answer. So if you are interested in seeing Aimee has a clinic, an actual office in New York, actually literally, funny enough, in that building
Across
right
the
there,
street.
across the street, on 22nd and Broadway in Manhattan, or also, she's also in Nyack. Here, let me take Gemma, come here. You can find Aimee in New York City at her office, or in Nyack, or Hamptons. She also does Skype or Zoom calls if you do not live in the New York area. And in addition, that's it, right?
Yeah, go to aimeeraupp.com if you want more info on me. And the book is obviously listed on there as well. And yeah, I'd love for you guys to check out the book. I think it's a game changer for anyone looking to feel better now. And that's it. And I wrote it with a lot of love and compassion.
Again, even just some of the recommendations in here, you will start feeling so much better. And I know from personal experience. So thanks, Aimee.
You're welcome. I love you. Thank you.
Mwah.
I love you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Thank
Say
you.
bye-bye, Jen. Bye.
And bye.
And then make sure you save.